Hello, everybody. My name is Dee, and welcome to Books and Quirks. Today is Friday, so it's time for our Friday reads. I have been away from the camera for 2 weeks now. I had another cold and cough, and that completely zapped away my voice, and it's finally coming back. I tell you, this is like the third cold I've had this year. It's just not my year. I need to get better with like taking vitamins or something. Um, but I'm just happy to have a voice again, even though it's not 100%. You can probably hear it, but at least I could talk. It's such an improvement from what it was for the past 2 weeks, and yeah, not fun at all. Um, but I have been reading, not as much as I usually do. You know how it is when you're sick. But I did read a couple of things, so I'll just recap real quick. So the first book that I finished this past week was The Revolution of Marina M by Janet Fitch. Janet Fitch was the author of White Oleander. White Oleander was a book and movie that came out, I think, either in the late 90s or early 2000s. I never read the book, but I did see the movie. It was a little bit disturbing, but I did enjoy it overall. So I was really excited to read this book. I buddy read it with Cheryl over at Sierra Flames Fan. We were both very excited. This is a historical fiction centered around the Russian Revolution. And yeah, I wound up giving this book 2 stars. And I think Cheryl and I were very much in agreement about this book for the most part. The beginning of the book, or I should say the first third of the book, was very good. I felt like I learned a lot. The revolution, when the book starts, the revolution hasn't really gotten started, but there's a lot of unrest. It's coming. The revolution is coming. And the main character, Marina, is 15, I think, when the book first starts. And she is very much wanting to be part of history, wanting to be part of the revolution. She has a friend that is not the best influence on her. And yeah, so I mean, it started out very good. And then it really went downhill from there. I I don't even know how to describe this book. The author, I think, didn't know what type of book she wanted to write. Started out with historical fiction. It got into fantasy, but a weird fantasy. Like it wasn't enjoyable at all. I don't want to spoil anything for you in case you do want to read it. There was a lot of sex in this book. I don't mind sex in books, but this was like really bad abhorrence, like just not good. And it was just constant. It felt like, every chapter had, a lot of sex in it. Yeah, and I mean, like I said, I don't really mind it in, romance novels and things like that, but this was not that at all. The complete opposite. Yeah, I would say, if you're interested in the Russian Revolution, if you're interested in historical fiction, I would listen to other reviews of this book because I really can't do it justice and I don't want to just, put every bit of it down because I can do that. If I get into spoilers with this book, which I won't. Um, I will just say that, I just didn't enjoy it. It wasn't for me. I If it wasn't for the buddy read and how much I enjoy reading books with Cheryl, I might not have finished this. It might have been a book that I DNF, and if you know me or if you've watched me for a long time, you know that's not something that I easily do. So, yes, give this 2 stars. So the other book that I've been reading this week, and we are almost done with it, it is a buddy read, and that is Among Others by Jo Walton. This is a Hugo Award winner. It was written in 2011, I think. It was written in 2010, but it actually takes place in the 1970s. And this book is written in diary format, and it follows a young girl named Morwena. So I am reading this with a bunch of booktubers, and I will link all of their channels below. And yes, so this is about a young girl, like I said, named Morwena. She is, she dabbles in magic, and she also has the ability to speak to fairies. This was written in diary format, and you're very much in her head as she recounts her day's events. There are issues within her family. There are issues within her mother. Her mother is also a witch, according to Morwena. We're very much in her head, so we don't really get the full perspective. However, I am really enjoying this book. My only complaint is that we are now, we only have 2 days of reading left. We are now 2/3 of the way through this book, and we still don't know where the book is going, um, or why this is an award winner. However, I am excited to keep going with this book. It feels to me more like a coming of age story rather than a fantasy story. Um, I very much like Morwena's perspective. I actually like being in her head, but I know that's not for everybody. I really enjoy her writing style as well. I find it very lyrical, and I just find it very easy to read. But yes, I am eager to see where this book is going because it's a very slow burn. Not much is really happening. You know, she goes about her daily life. Like I said, you know, the book does pick up in parts where she has, you know, issues with her family. I don't really want to get into any spoilers, so I don't want to mention what those issues are. Um, and she does, you know, interact with fairies from time to time. And yeah, and she loves to read. This is very much a book that pays homage to science fiction and fantasy. She names drop. Morwena is a character that loves to read. She reads like 2 books a day, and she has read like all science fiction and fantasy, and it's just amazing. There are so many books that she mentioned that I've never read, never heard of, and I want to now I want to read them just because of this book. So, yeah, those are the aspects I'm liking about it so far, and I'll talk about it more once I finish, and we'll be finishing up this book tomorrow. So, we'll have to see. So the next books that I want to start this weekend, I'm a little bit torn. I'm not sure which one I want to pick up. But the first option is Songs of Love and War by Santa Montefiore. I saw a couple of booktubers reading this, and it seemed very interesting, and I want to give it a shot. It's really a book, it's historical fiction that takes place, I think, in World War II. Um, in the Irish Hills, follows 3 women, and it's a story of love, friendship, and family. And when I heard people talk about this book, it just seemed like something warm and something I would enjoy. Of course, it's not all going to be warm considering there's a backdrop of war, but you know what I mean. You know, about this family and these friends, and yeah, I want to give it a shot. So I think I might pick this up this weekend. If I don't pick that book up, I do have another option, and it's a very short option. It's one I've had on my shelf forever, and I've had an itch to read it lately, and that is The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. I had a plan to read this last year, and it kept on getting put off, as yeah, I really want to read this. This is fantasy, I believe. So I don't know much about the plot. I think it has fairy tale type aspects to this book. Yeah, I am excited to read this. I have been putting it off for way too long. It is so short. It should take me no time at all to read it. It's 164 pages. So that's my other option. So that's really all I have for this Friday Reads. I hope you enjoyed. I'm so glad to be back in front of the camera, even though my voice isn't 100%. It's getting better, so yay. Um, and And yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend and stay cool wherever you are. And I will see you all very, very soon. Bye.